Hi guys, so I'm back with a new video and let's talk about The Strangers. So, if you've been following me for a while, you may or may not know that I'm a huge fan of The Strangers. I don't know if I've actually mentioned here on my channel, but I am a really big fan of The Strangers. I think I actually reviewed the second Strangers when it came out. A while ago actually. I think it was in like 2018 maybe when the second one, Pray at Night, came out. But I actually love the original one from 2008. So when they announced they were doing a remake and a trilogy, one that I think everything is filmed, I was pretty scared, not gonna lie. I just have the original one in such a pedestal, like it's one of my all-time favorite horror movies, that I wasn't really sure about doing a remake one because it hasn't been that long ago since it came out. Like, it's from 2008, so I don't actually think that enough time has passed. But also because I think the original one still holds up pretty well. Like, there was no need to do a remake, a reboot, whatever. I understand doing like a sequel. It makes sense. It's the type of formula like Final Destination or so, where you can do a bunch of films with this formula. But a remake, I wasn't so sure about. So, needless to say that I was really cautious. I rewatched the original one 2 days before I went in. So I watched it today. So like 2 days ago, I rewatched the original. Still holds up pretty well. Obviously, it's not the same thing on a second or third watch, but it's still a great film. And I have everything really fresh in my mind. So the comparisons were inevitable. And this video will actually be kind of a rant because, I just have a lot of things to say and I do have to get into spoilers. But relax, I'm only gonna get into spoilers at the end of the video, so I'll do everything spoiler free with scores and everything. And then I'll get into my spoiler rant because I do have to talk about everything and kind of compare this one with the original and talk about the ending. But before that, let's start in the beginning and let me tell you a little bit about the movie. So if you don't know what this new Strangers Chapter 1 is about, it's about a couple that has to spend the night in an Airbnb in the middle of nowhere, and they are terrorized by a group of strangers. Basic premise, not exactly the same as in the original film, but pretty similar. As far as the cast goes, this one has a few more actors than the original film, but the main two actors are Madeleine Petsch and Froy Gutierrez. Both of them really popular amongst the teens. Madeleine Petsch because of Riverdale and Froy Gutierrez because of Teen Wolf. So I think that says a lot about who the target audience for this film is. And I guess since we're on that, let's just move on to my thoughts. So, as I said, I have a lot of thoughts. And because the original one is one of my favorites, this one just had a tough job in making it as good or better than the original, which I highly doubted that he could do it. And yeah, it was exactly what I thought would happen. So this film, to me, just isn't as good, nowhere near as good as the original. I do think this is a good film, but because I have such like a really big love towards the original one, I just don't think this one can compare to the original. There's a lot of things that aren't present in this film that make the original one what it is. And the main thing is actually the tension. If you've seen the original The Strangers, you know that the thing about that film is the tension building. There aren't like a lot of jump scares. Like there's one jump scare in the original film. So throughout most of the film, you're just tense. You see the strangers taunting the couple, and they do it a lot more in the original film. So there's a lot of build up and there's no release, like because there's only like one jump scare, you're tense throughout a lot of the film, and that just creates like that dread. With this new film, there's also a lot more going on. There's a bigger storyline, there's more setup, there's a lot of things that happen like in the beginning of the film to set this thing, while in the original it's basically straight into the home invasion. And this one has a lot more jump scares. I would say this film is more of a slasher and not really like a home invasion thriller. So they have a completely different feel, while the original one is way more intense in the way that I don't know, it makes me more afraid. This new one is more thrilling, there's more action, there's more like running around. And yeah, in the original film, they are stuck in the house for most of the film. In this one, there's scenes everywhere, inside the house, outside the house, in the woods, in the nearby town. So there's more going on, which I think it makes more like of a thrilling ride. It's more of a slasher, as I said, which is not the same feel as in the original. And because of that, I just like that tension building that isn't present in this new film. I do have to say though that my favorite scenes in this film were the scenes that took place in the woods. It's like different from the original, but these were the scenes where they have more tension building. I don't know if it was the setting, if it was like the sound choices, like the sound design. I don't know what it was, but I liked those better than the ones inside the house, or because it was just something new. Yeah, I don't know, but I think those are my favorites in this film. As far as the acting goes, I'm actually like pleasantly surprised with these actors. Not that I thought they were bad actors, but because they come from like teen shows and I've seen those shows, they're not like the best. And when it's paired with a bad script, it could go really wrong, which I don't think it happens here, but they are characters that do a lot of dumb decisions. Like they do a lot of dumb stuff, and I found myself getting really pissed at some of their decisions. Mainly the character played by Madeline Patch, so the girl in this situation, I don't know, she is the one that spends the most time in the house, just like in the original film. So she has a tougher time like getting away from these people. but some of her decisions really annoyed me. So there's that. But yeah, I guess at the end of the day, I don't think this is a bad film. It's just not like my favorite because I love the original. And because of that, I think this one works better if you haven't seen the original. And obviously, I think this, like the target audience for this film, is more of a teen audience, not only because of the cast, but also because this is a little bit more, has a bit more slasher vibes, as I said. I don't think this is for the OG fans. I think this is for new fans. But maybe if you didn't like the original, you like this one. I just think people, if you are like me, those who love the original, I don't think they'll get the same thing from this one. And post that, let's get to my scores. So overall, I'm gonna give the film a 2.5 out of 5. I don't think this is a bad film. I think if I hadn't seen the original, I would give this one a higher score. But because I love the original, I just can't give this one a higher score. I think it's a fine film. It didn't bother me too much, but the vibe isn't there. As far as cinematography goes, I give it a 3 out of 5. I think it's a pretty solid film. It actually has a few really good shots. So in that department, I really liked how the movie looked. I didn't love the sound choices, the music choices. Some of them were a bit odd. Again, they are a bit more pop vibes, so yeah, they are more for the teen audience, I guess. But visually, I liked how the movie looked. And originality, I am gonna give it a 2 out of 5. It's not an original idea. One, because it comes from another film, but also the things that they did different in this one, I've seen in other films, so yeah. So now that I've told you everything without getting into spoilers, I'm gonna start my rant. So if you don't want to know anything specific about this film, just click out of the video and maybe come back after you watch it. But if you want to know specifics of what, comparing both films and what I wasn't super into in this one, just stick around. This is gonna be kind of a rant, but I'm gonna try and be really concise with everything. So I've mentioned a lot of the things that they did differently because they don't really matter in terms of the story. But as I said, this film has a lot more setup in the beginning. They go into the town and they talk with a bunch of people in this diner, and I think that setup is one for you to think about who these killers are, which is something that annoyed me because the original film just makes a point that you never see the faces of the strangers and you're not supposed to know. The intention is that these are just random people attacking other random people. It doesn't matter who you are. There's no intention behind all of this. It's just, it happened. These people are kind of crazy and they're attacking random people for no reason. And I think this one, also because there will be other two films, there will be a storyline with the people in this town, and I think you are supposed to start thinking of who these people are, that it should be someone from that they've encountered before and they're doing this for a reason, which I don't like, and I hope they don't go that way. They don't exactly show anything in this film, they don't tell you who these people are, or they don't make any big references. but there's a lot of setup in the beginning, and I think that's one of the reasons why. Something else that they changed was that in this one they stay in an Airbnb. It's nothing major, but it like makes a difference because in the original one it was the guy's, like the parents, his parents' house, so he knew the place, he knew the location. In this one they don't exactly know anything about where they're staying. They don't know which rooms have what in there, and they don't know like if there's weapons. They don't know which doors and which windows are open. They don't know anything. And yeah, I don't know how I feel about it, but it's something that I thought I should point out. However, they do keep all the important bits from the original one. So they have that Istamara home like line. I don't know if it makes a lot of sense here because they are in the middle of nowhere, while in the original film they are in like a small town, but there are houses around. So in this one, going there to ask for if someone's at home, like when there's no other houses around, yeah, it's weird. But they do have that line. They also are interrupted while making out. The guy leaves the house. In the original one, he goes to get her some cigarettes. In here, he goes to get his inhaler from the car that they left in the shop, in the repair shop, and to get some food. So he leaves the house. That's when the strangers go and taunt the girl. She hides in a closet, which is another of the scenes that kind of pissed me off with her dumb decisions. The strangers turn off the lights, which also happens in the original. They kill the wrong person. So in the original, they kill the guy's best friend. In here, they kill the guy that they are renting the place from, like who owns the house. So they kill the wrong person. The strangers destroy their vehicle, even though their car is in the repair shop. They found a motorcycle in this place, so they destroy the bike, the motorcycle. They write things on the wall and on the windows, just like in the original. The couple goes to the barn to get a gun, so that also happens in the original, even though in the original they know where the gun is. Here they spend a lot of time in the film looking for a gun, which they eventually find. The guy and the girl split up. Eventually they found them both, and she's dragged just like in the original, and they are tied up together. So a lot of the same things happen, and they try to create that eerie like aspect of the original, even though they can't exactly recreate that because of everything that I said before. But what they changed like a lot was the ending. So obviously, because this is a trilogy, I expected they would change a few things. Even though this could be one of those trilogies with different couples being terrorized by the same villain. But no, that's not what happens here. So obviously, I figured it like right away. The girl doesn't die, and she's probably gonna be the protagonist in at least the second film. I hope they go in the direction where like she is the one going after these people, but I don't know. Anyway, so she doesn't die. However, before that, the guy catches one of the strangers and That never happens in the original. I don't think so, at least. And that's another moment where these characters make dumb decisions because he doesn't kill this person, the stranger, and eventually, like, another of the strangers like knocks him out, and that's when they tie them together. It just really annoyed me because it could have been something different. Like, I would have liked to see the couple like killing at least one of the strangers. I know it wouldn't be the same thing in the second and third film, but it would be something different and unpredictable. However, yeah, it doesn't kill any of them. None of the three strangers are killed. The guy, like the couple, the guy in the couple, he dies, but the girl doesn't die. And that was pretty obvious. And something that they changed is that in the original film, all the strangers take off their masks. We never see who they are because, again, it doesn't matter. But here, they never take off their masks. And obviously, it was intentional because there will be 2 other films. And if she has seen their faces, she would obviously know who they were. It would be way too easy. So, yeah, so they never take off their masks. And there's a survivor in this film. So those are the big changes. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. I don't know about how I feel about this ending. I hope they go in the direction that I said, like a revenge story. So the guy died, so she goes after these people, tries to find them and gets her revenge. I don't know how that would work with a third film, but yeah, I hope they do something different. I would like to see one of the strangers get killed, to be honest. That would be like really, really different. If they're gonna do something different from the original, just, yeah, go all out. So, yeah. Oh, also, they also changed the line, why are you doing this? Because you were home. In this one, they just answer because you were here. I figured they would do that because this isn't their home. Yeah, I just thought I should point out that. So they changed their line. It has the same effect, but they did change it. So this is my rant about the new strangers. I think it's a good film. It's a fine film because I like the original. I can't really get too much into this one. But let me know what you thought of the new strangers if you have seen it already. If you haven't, let me know in the comments if you like the original and if you are planning on watching this one. Also, if you end up watching it, let me know after you watch the film what you thought and yeah, how you compare to the original. How do you feel about the ending? And yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not subscribed yet, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!